All praise, glory, honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai. Double honors to the Apostle El's Greatness. Well, salutations to our King's Word, Spirit and Truth. Blessings to the elect and all one third prayers be saved. Brother Yakal coming on video. Hopefully I'll be going home later on. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I think I underestimated it. I mean, I've got sickle cell, so you're used to pain, but this kind of pain, basically when you've been opened up, it's a different kind of pain. And I think the reality hit me when they came yesterday. And you know what, I'm grateful, because remember, I was just waiting for this for 2 years, man. And there was a brother on that responded to the video, brother in his truth. He said that he's got a kind of a hernia as well, I think it's hepatis hernia. I think I looked it up anyway. It's a little different to mine, but you know, it needs to be sorted. And Lord willing, the brother stay in the truth. And you know what, the Lord is going to find a way if he's zealous about this truth. You know, and you have to be zealous about it. You know, you can't just be like, you know, some part-time Israelite, man. This is who we are. Okay, so it's difficult. And being from that medical background, where, as I said, my dad passed away, but a couple of years ago, and the doctor came and she said that to me. She said, like, do you remember me? She goes, in November, remember I came to see you and you're saying that your dad passed away? And I was like, yeah, you know, and that's nice, because at least they remember you and like him being. But she was just like, you know, she goes, if you didn't have sickle cell, like, you'll be home by now. I was like, wow, okay. And I wouldn't have been in ICU. I was in ICU for about, I think it took me down about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I think I woke up about maybe 7, or 6, you know. I think it took a couple of hours, 2.5 to 3 hours or whatever. And the woman that came as well with the other woman, one was Asian, the other one was a white woman. She goes, I'm the one that actually did surgery. I was like, okay. But you know, when you go under, you're knocked out, innit? But it's, as I said, we know what time we're in. So just a few scriptures to go over, because this is dead serious, man. Because the ward I'm in is a surgical ward, so people are going into surgery or recovering from surgery, and you can't even believe the kind of pain that these people are. You can't believe the pain that I'm in, man. And I'm telling you, I'm used to pain, but this is a different kind of pain. Not last night, but the night before, I was in so much pain. So when the next day, the doctors were saying all this, and then nurse, I got on with him. He got up and said, well, he's still on this, he's still on that medication. I said, you know, and it was almost like he was objecting, and I was like, I said to him, he goes, the plan was that you'll be on tablets by now. I said, yeah, but that's the plan. You know, when you have a plan, sometimes you have to deviate from that plan because of the person, the patient, you know what I mean? I mean, when I came out of the surgery, it was they met with my team, the surgical team met with my team, or they did it over the phone, and apparently on the 14th, because I did ask them, they devised a plan, because when they had a plan for November, but because that surgery in November and December when I was in didn't go ahead, it must have been scrapped. I thought they were going to carry that on. And I agreed to that plan, so this one I didn't know. So when I woke up, I was in so much pain. They said, here's a button, press it. When it flashes, and it'll give you pain relief. And I pressed it 4 or 5 times, nothing. And I said to them, what is in this thing? And they said, ketamine, which was supposed to be the one that was the backup. If it doesn't work, then you'll have that, because your body won't respond to it because you've never had it. and morphine, and it was together. Never agreed to that. And so when I was pressing it 4 or 5 times and it didn't work, I said to them, please, can you just take all of this off and just put me on when I come in hospital with sickle cell crisis pain, what I have. And to be fair, because they were in ITU, you have one nurse towards 2 patients. You know, I said it 2 or 3 times and they just did it. And I'm very grateful to them because you have to understand that, remember, you know, like everyone works and you got a job. My dad, he was a doctor. When he was coming home and he was describing all these things, he was talking like this was a layman's terms and this is normal. Okay, it's normal for you because you're the doctor, but it's not normal for that poor person that's in that hospital bed in pain, or the person that has been sliced in 4 ways, or the person that is going through chemotherapy, or the person that has had half their face amputated. I mean, you have to have, what's the word? You have to have empathy, man. Especially in the time we're in now. And if you don't have it in your job or the way you move as a person, especially in this truth, guess what? What is going to happen? Alright? Because the Lord does believe in reaping what you sow. Now, we know the time that we're coming into, so if that's your spirit, that's what you're going to receive, man. So like that, I told you in the last submission in November, had one of our women and she was a horrible nurse, and I was rolling in agony, and I had a cannula, which is one of these, and rather than care about my pain I was in, she goes, stop moving around, this is going to fall out, you know, and it fell out, and she goes, oh, that's going to take ages for me to put back in. Nothing about my pain, nothing about let me try and get you out of pain, let me get the doctor, let me try and find nothing. That was her reaction. And I looked at her and I cried, man. I said, is there not humanity? And she was a Benjamite, I think. You know? And being here, not last night, the night before, there's a nurse, a really nice nurse, an Israelite nurse. His name is Fred. That's it. And they had to give me some bloods, right? And because they had to give me some bloods, and I was in so much pain, he was really looking after me. He was trying to find solutions. Oh, I can give you IV paracetamol. Oh, well, they should have gave you earlier. They didn't. Let me give it to you now. That's a different spirit. That's an empathetic, caring spirit compared to her. But they're doing the same job. So in these times, whatever you reap, you're going to sow, man. All right? You can be like that all you want. All right? You can get one up on people, but you can't get one up on God. All right? And the scriptures say that, so we're going to go into it. Okay. Let's go to the book of Job, which when I first, the Lord Burst in Troops was my favourite book. I read this whole book because it's about suffering, and that's what Job did. He suffered all his life, but still had faith and integrity in God. And that's what we have to do. And let me get it. So like, slow here. Job 12. And Job must have had see, because Job was going through hell, did he take it out on people around him when he went to work or whatever? No, he didn't. He had integrity in the Lord. He might have done a couple of times, but I'm sure he reflected on it, apologized, or, you know, this is a man of integrity. Okay? Which most people don't have nowadays, but especially our people. You know? Okay, let's see, Job. Let's see now, chapter 12, verse 16. Because I got a friend, and he's the first one that told me about us being Israelites years ago. We're good friends. We've known each other for 20 years, uni, college, together. You know, since I've been in hospital, he's been messaging me. You know, I love him, but, you know, he believes in a different doctrine, a different name. And I'm worried for him, man. Because when someone's nice to you and they're a friend, you worry about their soul. But listen, if they're not in this truth, and they're you know, and they're not bothered about it, leave them. We ain't got time for those kind of people. All right, Job chapter 12, painful. Verse 16. Okay. Alright, here you go. 16. To him belongeth strength and victory. Both deceived and deceiver are his. So a person that's doing, for example, like this clown we've got in number 10. They actually, these people actually believe that our prime minister, all right, did actually go to a house and have cheese and biscuits and during a lockdown. All of that is constructed to make people angry because they want civil disobedience. All right, so they can bring in their wicked edicts. All right, so the deceived and the deceiver are his. Okay, they're the Lord's, man. The deceived, to him belong the strength and victory. Both deceived and deceiver are his. All right, he leads counselors stripped away and makes fools of judges. So all these people like my dad who knew all this knowledge, this, that and the other, big man doctor, to the Lord they're nothing, man. He can strip these people and make them fools. Alright? He takes off shackles and put on by kings. That's what he did to us in the Middle Ages. Most of our monarchs were taken by their Edomite subjects and their heads were chopped off. The French Revolution, they did that to the French monarch. It was one of our people. Alright? Tsar Nicholas. Alright? Who looks like an Edomite. But in World War One, the Bolsheviks, they did that. They totally cut his head off. You know why? They knew that his lineage went back to these people, you see. Okay? So the Lord can strip down kings to nothing, man. Alright? So he leads counselors and stripped away and makes fools of judges. He takes off the shackles, puts on by kings, and ties a loincloth around their waist, man. There you go, man. Makes them slaves. Okay? He leads priests stripped away and overthrows men long established. And that's what's going to happen with these Edomites. He silenced the lips of the trusted advisors and takes away the discernment of elders. All these wicked politicians that are doing wickedness, taking the pee out of people like this that are trying to, make a living and help people, and telling them, well, you can't have a job unless you do this and that. The Lord is going to use them and he's going to destroy them. Okay? Guaranteed, man. All right? 21. All right? Verse 21. Let's see, verse 21. He pours contempt on nobles. You see? These were nobles, but the majority of them were wicked. King James was righteous. He wasn't perfect, but the Lord put his name on it. And I was telling this Edomite over there that he was so-called black man and not a homo, and he wouldn't believe it, and he said it doesn't matter that he was. No, that's a wicked lie they did after he died, but in this world he's always right. He's not gonna listen to me. In this world I'm nothing. You know why? Because they've hid all this, man. This is why the so-called black man and black woman have no confidence. They got no confidence, our people, because they don't know how great they are. You see? Not how great they are. They don't know that those castles were made by them and they were taken and we were so great that they pretended to be us. That's a privilege, man. That's why when you I call you blacks. When you blacks find it out and it doesn't move you spiritually, that's how we know you're dead spiritually, man. Okay? So the Lord is in control of everything, man. The deceive and the deceiver is. He pours contempt on nobles and disarms the mighty. He reveals the deep things of darkness and brings deep shadows into the light. And a lot of people know what's going on now, man, with this whole scamdemic. All right? He makes great nations and destroys them. And that's what's going to happen with America, Babylon the Great. Third World War, which you can see already with Russia, which is biblical. All right, it's in Matthew 37. Ezekiel 38 verse 1, and other scriptures, all right, that country is going to be wiped off the planet. The Lord's going to make an example out of it. All right? So the Lord is in control. The deceiver and deceive our heads. And that woman that mistreated me in the last admission, she thinks maybe she's got away with it. We'll see, man. You know? Because you know what? I've done wicked things. So if the Lord deems it to have mercy on her, fine. But if she's deceived to think that she's got away with that, and especially if it's not in the truth, the Lord won't get her. Okay? Now let's go to Matthew 11. I'm telling you, man, this time we got to take this seriously. Brother that's got the hernia as well, like me, you got to persevere. And you got to bury yourself in this truth. You got to submerge. You know, like when you see them women in Iceland, they go to them volcanoes. And apparently, you know, they go into these pits, coal pits or whatever. And not the lava, but there's some kind of thing. And they submerge it in their body and it makes their skin better. That's what you got to do with this truth. You got to submerge yourself in it. Because if you submerge yourself in this world, you're going to be disappointed, man. This world is morally it's a cesspool, man. We just have to make the best of it, but we have to do it with this. All right. Matthew 7, verse 11. All right. Where is this now? Okay. There you go. Verse 11. If you then, though you are evil, now how to give. All right. Wait. If you then know. If you then, through you are evil, know how to give good gifts to your children, and our people are wicked, but they know how to give gifts to their children, then how much more your Father in heaven, Heavenly Father, give you gifts to those who ask Him. Yeah, and those that are doing His will. That's why that brother and other people like it with ailments, submerge yourself in this, man. There's nothing else. You know what's coming. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. So treat people the way you want to be treated. Listen, if you're some doctor or nurse and you're being wicked to patients, is that the way you want your mum or dad to be treated when they're in hospital? Of course not. I said that in the last admission when I was in Gordon Smith. The nurse said, I'm following your protocol. I said, I'm in agony. It's still not working. Can you ask the doctor to do something else? She goes, I'm following your protocol. I said to her, do you have a son or daughter? She didn't answer. I said, if you have a son and he had pain like me and he was in hospital and he was treated the way you're treating me, would you say to him that he got good care? And she just looked at me, and then about an hour later she came back and she's trying to inject me with something. I said, what's this? She went, I called the doctor and I got a breakthrough painkiller. Smaller dose, but a one-off, so it can get on top of the pain. And guess what? It did. But why did I have to speak to her for 6 hours and beg her for her to do her job? You know why? No empathy, because it's just a job to her. That's why you got to examine yourself every day, man. Myself included, man. I can't be teaching things like this and then be wicked. And if I am like that, the Lord's going to get me, man. And He's going to expose me. All right. Let's see now. There's a bit more here. There you go. Verse 12, I think it is. Verse 12. See, I can't even cough. It's painful. Sorry. Excuse me, Akim and Aquaf. In everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law and the prophets. There you go, man. The Lord make it plain. I don't even have to explain that. Enter through the narrow gate, which is the straight gate. For wide is the gate and broad is the way. Alright? This is more proof that Christianity doesn't work. That leads to destruction. And many enter through it, but a small is the gate and narrow is the road that leads to life, and only few that find it. See, that shows you that religion is very a wide gate. It's not a religious book. It's our book. We've been tricked. All right? And that's a beautiful scripture. And remember, this is the It's not the King James Bible, it's the Gideon one. We've changed the words a bit, but this is a good book for any brother and sister that, wants to learn the basics. Itself, God, you got all these contents pages, so it'll help. Alright, let's go to Romans 10. So my friend, I'm trying to tell him, he's in this truth. He's the one that told me about this truth. I came into this truth seriously. He never really, but now he's serious about this truth. He doesn't go out teaching like me and that, but his woman's into this. He believes in it. But he's calling God a totally different name, Yahuwah. Listen, if you're watching videos and someone is not saying Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, God's name and his son's true name, don't watch it. Or watch it. You can watch it for information, but that's not the true names. And on our channel, on my channel, if you go to the main page and you look down, it will say GMS lessons. Then it'll have basic lessons, GMS elders the milk, and one of them's the name, so you can go and look it for yourself. See, the Lord has got you covered in everything, man. Alright, Romans, Matthew, Mark, Luke, John. So yeah, if they're on the totally wrong track, so I'm trying to talk to him, but he's not listening. He's stubborn, and that's what the Bible says about our people. They're stiff-necked. All right, this is Romans 10 verses. All right, this is Paul, 10 verse 1. Brothers, my heart's desire and prayer to God for the Israelites, see, it's all about us, that they might be saved. For I testify about them, they are zealous about God. Alright, and we are zealous about God. All of them are. Alright, but their zeal is not based on knowledge. That's true. Since they do not know the righteousness that comes from God and sought to establish their own righteousness, that not their own, they did not submit to God's righteousness. See, that's my friend. He's not submitting to the true name, but the Lord said deceived and the deceiver are his. So if he's deceived, so the Lord wants to destroy him, so be it. I can't say nothing. Christ is in the end of the law, so that there might be righteousness for everyone who believes. Alright, so I tell you, man, if they're not really submerged, alright, in this truth, forget about it, man. See? But it says being, in the James, it says being ignorant of God's righteousness, they establish their own righteousness, which is dangerous. It's like you going to a hospital and the person at the reception says, just wait over there. I say, well, I've been waiting for 2 hours. Yeah, just keep waiting there. Yeah, but what's the rules, regulations? I'll think about it in a minute and I'll get back to you. See? When you make your own rules, chaos happens. Okay? Alright? So you gotta forget about these people, man. Alright? And the ones that want to submit to who? God's righteousness. So we'll leave it at that. Alright? I should be coming out today. Painful, man. But one of the healthcare assistants yesterday, she's like, listen, I know it's painful, but get up and you're going to walk to that shower and walk back and do this and do that. And she was right, because it's painful, man. It's a different kind